Alright, so here are the motor mounts that I'm using. These are from an E30 M50s. These are the these are the driver side, and these are the cylindrical ones. Now people say you need to use two of the passenger sides because they are different. They look like this. It's like a weird shape. So yeah, people say you need two of these and that the cylindrical ones won't work, but then I've also read on another forum where some guy said he used two of these and they worked. And then also a video from Slightly Mad Customs, they said that you can use two of these because these are the cheaper ones. So I'm just gonna run these and hopefully it'll work. And then people also say to put the stud on the outer hole. So here's the normal one and here's the outer one. So the stud goes in the outer one and then the little rubber thing kind of lines it up. So here it is on this side, and yeah, the engine is going to be going in soon, so we'll be finding out if these work or not. Alright, so now the reverse light wiring. So here is the plug, and remember this car was an auto at first, so it might be a little different from one that's manual. Alright, so basically all I did was just the other side of this plug connects to here and just cut it off, and that's this end right here. This side is the plug that connects to the engine harness, and this goes into the transmission. So all I did is just cut this off, and then I cut this part off and then connected it together. So now on this plug, these two wires, you just don't do anything with them, and then you hook this up on this side, and then on the other side you put this into the transmission. So once you're in reverse gear, it'll complete the circuit, and then it'll allow the reverse lights to turn on. So yeah, just simple wiring right here. All right, here's drive shaft. This is the rear half. That's the front half. I just took it off of my 328 because I crashed this car and I'm not going to be driving it for a while. It's going to be like a year or two until I fix it. Yeah. And here is the stock E30 drive shaft, the auto. So you can see the protruding side of the CSB faces towards the front. The front has the Grebo on it. E36 drive shaft. People say you need to use the E30 CSB. That is correct. The E36 CSB will not line up on the E30. And then I've also read that you're supposed to flip the CSB. So the protruding side would be facing the rear, but that's actually wrong. You want to make it facing the front so that the CSB is sitting the same way it would on the E30 drive shaft, except it's on the E36 drive shaft. So the difference is that on the E36 one, the joint is behind the CSB, and on the E30, this joint right here, the U joint, is in front of the CSB. That's the only thing that's different. But yeah, so this should work perfectly fine. Now on my CSB, the bearing, the dust shield on there, it's actually a little damaged because when I was trying to put it in, I was using a screwdriver and it kind of slipped sometimes. So instead, I found a better way. You use a socket. This one's an 8mm deep socket with an extension, and then you see it sits perfectly so that it rests on the inner race and the outer race, and that way it'll never be able to kind of poke the dust shield. So this is metal dust shield. I'm not using that. This is from the original E36 CSB or drive shaft, and I'm not using that because in order to fit that behind this little C-clip, you need to push the CSB back where this part starts rubbing on the drive shaft. So yeah, no dust shield. Now the reason why you can't flip the CSB is because this gap is different from this gap. You see how this one sticks out more? So that means that on the chassis, the drive shaft isn't aligned up perfectly in the center. It's offset by a little bit, and that's why you need to keep this facing the same direction. But yeah, so once you have the E30 CSB on here, just put the drive shaft back together. Now make sure you put the drive shaft back the same way that it came on, because drive shafts are balanced, and if you put it on not exactly the same, then you'll have vibrations. So mine was marked with the dot right here and right here, so just line those up and then it should be good to go to install. All right, so here are all of the parts for the exhaust. So first I got some Amazon 3-inch exhaust pipe kit. So it's got 2 straights, 2 U's, 2 45s, and then 2 90s. And then here I got a Vibrant muffler. with dual tips, and then 3-inch in. And then here I got an Vibrant Ultra Quiet resonator. That's a 3-inch in and out. And then I have a MagnaFlow CA compliant cat, because I really don't want my car to be smelling like shit, and then I don't know, cops might get suspicious if I get pulled over and it smells like it's got no cats. So yeah, got 2 V-bands, so I can easily take apart the exhaust with just like what, 2 bolts right there. And then I got a flex pipe. So I have this because I'm doing my own custom exhaust and I don't have access to those expensive tools to make like super precise cuts and make everything really accurate. So I need to have a little bit of play in the exhaust so that I can like put it into place and like make it aligned properly. Here got a bunch of exhaust hangers, and then here are the little rubber bits. And yeah, so I'm just gonna piece all this together to make the exhaust. So I've actually already started working on the exhaust. So here I have like the 2-to-1 part. It's gonna be 2 2-inch to a single 3-inch right here. And then what I've done is I've taken the flanges from an E36 at pick and pull, and then I just chopped off most of the pipes, and then I just added my own right here. So you can see it's actually kind of a tight fit, but it's able to clear the subframe and sway bar. So yeah, I've got them positioned, so I'm just gonna weld them up and then add the 3-inch pipe, and then from there just, you know, add all the other parts. So I'm probably not going to record all the little details of me making the exhaust. I'll probably just show you guys when it's done. Alright, exhaust tips. So you can see the exhaust is on. So it's all done, all welded up and everything. I already have it on the car. And yeah, that's the exhaust. So I actually just found out that I have a bad head gasket. So you can see all of this that's like leaking out. So this is coming out from the exhaust. So that means somehow water's getting to the cylinder. So that's probably a bad head gasket. And this isn't just water, this has some chemical in it. It's this, I use thermocure because there was a bunch of rust inside of the engine where the coolant flows through. So I saw all of that rust when I was re-gasketing the engine. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking off the head and all that stuff, head gasket. I thought I didn't have to do that because I was just gonna trust where I got the motor from, but yeah, it's bad. Alright, so guys, so today I'm gonna be installing a steering wheel on my E30. So right here I got a Momo Retro, and something cool about this. So for all Momo wheels, 2021 and newer, you can verify that it's legit using NFC. So I got an iPhone 12. There you go, got that notification. And then there we go, it's legit, it's genuine. So yeah, pretty cool. And then I also got the Momo hub. I think the Momo part number is 2006. This is for E30. So yeah, gonna be installing this today. Now first, to remove the airbag wheel, I'm gonna use a T30 Torx. And then there's gonna be a hole right behind the steering wheel, right here. And same on the other side, so just loosen that. Alright, got the airbag loosened. Still plugged in, so make sure you disconnect the battery before you unplug this. So I already did that. Now just pry this off. Oop, like that. And these 2 bolts right here is what you were loosening before with the Torx bit. That's right here. Alright, so I'm gonna loosen this middle bolt. It's 22 mil. Just gonna break it open. Damn. There's a little washer in here. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna reuse this later. And then I got the key in first position, and then the wheel just slides out like that. All right, so this plug right here, just pulled it out and then disconnected it, and then the wheel's off. So now, reading online, you're gonna need another one of these spacers. You're putting a non-airbag wheel onto an airbag car. So this wheel is an airbag wheel. So since I'm putting an aftermarket hub on, I'm gonna need another one of these. So I'll put the part number on screen right here. So you can use either 2 of these, or you can use the original one plus some washers from a hardware store. All right, so comparing these two, 5 of these is gonna be the exact same height as one of these spacers. So this should work. And then these also fit right on here. Some forum posts, they say that you need to remove this little white piece right here. You just grab it with pliers and just yank it out or something. But I was looking at my wheel hub and it looks like this won't be catching on anything here, so it should work. So I'm just gonna leave this on here and see if it works fine. All right, so tuck this in. All right, right here, there's this little thing that goes in and out. When you install the wheel hub, it's gonna be making contact with this metal ring right here, and that's gonna be for the horn. So wheel hub goes on. Put all of these on, and then the original washer, and then the original bolt. All right, that should be good. Now for the horn, this wire is connected to the that metal ring that I showed you earlier behind the wheel hub. So whenever this wire makes contact with anything that's ground, like for example this metal piece right here, it'll activate the horn. It's not right now because the battery isn't connected, but that's how it works. All right, so I got this thing came with the wheel, so just put it like this. I'll just put this ring over. All right, now just connect up the horn, and you can connect these wires to any 2 as long as they're both connected, because when you press the button, it just makes contact, completes the circuit, so it doesn't matter which one they're on. And there you go, all done. So it's probably that little plastic thing that I mentioned earlier. It's probably making that noise, so I'll go yank that out actually. All right, so it's this little thing. Just like that. And then put everything back together. All right, so got the engine in and everything. Car is off jack stands, but there's a little issue with the idle, so let me show you guys. All right, so it's running fine after the cold start, but it dies after every time I start it now, so. So sometimes it just straight up dies after like the first rev, and then sometimes it continues to go up and down, like idle surging. So I suspect a vacuum leak because, so no MAF, it's not plugged in. So basically because of that, it should be running open loop. And I think it should be running based on the fuel map and only the fuel map. But for some reason it's still having weird idle problems. So that's why I think it's a vacuum leak. And I've made a little device, a DIY device, so I'll show that to you guys right now. All right, so I got my smoke machine right here, and it's just a jar with a pen and soldering iron, and then some baby oil and a towel inside. So you can just find how to make this on YouTube. There's like a million videos on how to do it. Yeah, so I got a glove hooked up to the intake boot so that none of it escapes, and just pump it through. And I'm using just some air pump I got on Amazon. All right, so I have figured out that it's the brake booster. Here, I just plugged it with the bolt. This is where the brake booster line goes. So now if I rev it, so it still kind of like drops down pretty low and bounces back, but it's not as bad as the idle before. Like this can actually maintain an idle. I'll show you. See, it dips down a little bit, but then it always bounces back and then stays steady. And I also took this to class earlier today, and it seemed to be fine. So yeah, I did the smoke test with the little machine right there that I made, and I didn't see any smoke. So the main problem is the brake booster. I suspect it's the O-ring, this rubber seal that sits between the brake master cylinder and the brake booster, because I had to separate those two when I did the brake booster relocation, and it's super old, so maybe it's sealed fine before, but the moment I took it apart, it probably didn't seal it properly when I put it back. So yeah, I'm gonna get new parts for that. Oh, also, I bolted up my fuel rail. So before, it wasn't lining up properly, but all I did is just like pull on it till it lines up and then put the nuts or put the bolts in. So maybe that was causing a leak or something, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the brake booster. So another way you can check is just yeah, unplugging this, and then you just put your thumb on here and plug the hole. And then, yeah, if it goes away, then it's a brake booster. All right, so I got the MAF plugged in. I'm gonna start it. So you can see the idle is really rough with the MAF plugged in. This is an eBay part. Even though it's new, it might be bad because it was like 20 bucks, 25 bucks maybe. All right, so right here is the edge of the brake booster where I hammered it in so that it could clear the intake manifold. So I figured out that the vacuum leak is coming from a little gap that I created. So I just put a bunch of JB weld there, and hopefully that seals it up good. And then I also got this tape here so that it's not messy. I just peel it and then it'll create a clean line. So yeah, if you want the intake manifold to clear, try to grind more of this off. But then if you have to hammer it, just hit it with some JB weld and it should be good.